In the previous session, we moved from a primitive type to a domain-specific custom type using brute force, and it was ugly. It's not the best way to go. In this session, I revert that and we try again following the steps in the book. All right. Welcome to the Quality Coding live stream, live coding, all the mistakes, all the discoveries done in real time, raw, and collaboratively. This is one of the best things about this for me. Hello, Mudshark. Hello, Pearl Guy. Good to have you both. Other folks will join. Let's see. Oh, well, usual intro. My name is John Reed. I am an iOS developer and a technical coach. And you can hire me, not just like to come in, swoop in as a coach on a short-term basis. I mean, I'm looking for a dev job right now. I would love to get back in. As much as I love coaching, I want to do more iOS. So that's me. And folks who are watching on YouTube after the fact. Pro Guy. Yeah. A lot of us are. Folks watching after the fact on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you like what you see as we go, give it a like, even if you don't get through the whole thing. Because who knows how this will go. It's live. And what you get on YouTube is just the recording. Hi, hello, Eric. Welcome. Last time we did some refactoring in not a great way, and I knew it and I could feel it. And as soon as the live stream was done, I thought, oh, damn it. What happened was we converted a raw array of the code choices for Mastermind into a new type. And that was painful because what we did was we did it the normal way, which is make the change here. Let's, well, I'm gonna redo it. It was the make the change, which breaks stuff, and then follow the breaks and fix them. But in the process of fixing those, you might introduce more errors. So it's just a bunch of error chasing until finally you're done. That's okay if the number of changes is small, if the number of errors is small, and if the propagation is small. It's okay because it can get you there pretty quick just to follow the errors. It is not great a lot of the time, especially in a big system, especially if you have a bunch of errors. Then that's not refactoring by the book. By the book. Refactoring by Martin Fowler. I used to keep this book within arm's reach as I coded. Like for, well, actually the first edition of it. For a good decade, probably. When I had a work office with a shelf up there where you can put books, real books. Remember real books? That's what this is, in case you don't recognize it. App code? Oh, I'm only a few minutes in and I said app code. App code made it less important because it has more automated refactoring. With the death of AppCode, or the sunsetting of AppCode, more accurately, these days I use AppCode maybe once a week. I still do, but it's not a great experience. And so it's back to Xcode, which means it's back to this book. But also the refactorings in this book, most of them are not things you would see in any automated support system. The smaller refactorings are, but we want to do some bigger things. So that's what I'm thinking of for this session. So. You see in the first top two changes here, ooh. How is it? Yeah, I see. I'm looking at my my bits per second there, and it's coming and going. Yeah. Damn it. This is starting to happen more. I don't know why. Oh well, hang in there. I hope it happens. So, hello, Chaos Tattoos. Welcome. Video lag. That's a shame. Hang in there, little Wi-Fi. Keep going, keep going. Let me double check that I'm on the right one. Yeah, 5G. That's what I work on all day. Meh. Well, fingers crossed. It'll be what it will be. YouTube folks will see it unblemished because I'm doing a local recording. We have the top two commits. Did I really make pretty much only 2 commits? Well, glad to have you. We'll see what we learn today. And that's a we, not a you. That's the thing about coding. Last time we tried to introduce a game choices plural as a type alias, and then we went and changed it to an actual type wrapping the array. Oh, there are a few other folks here. Hey, glad to have you. Say hello, like Chaos Tattoos did. So let's revert. I feel the need to go undo this. Git revert that one. And game choices as an alias. That one. Starting over. The problem that we face is, and the reason we kind of got here is because there is a code choice. So this is Mastermind, the old game here. This game, where there are a few colors and we guess at what the colors might be. And yay, I got all 4 colors. Well, that's because there are only 4 colors. 4 colors right in the wrong positions. Not very helpful. So we have code choice, which has a color and just a index value. And I want to make a new code choices. Oh, let me show you why. There's code. If we have an array of code choice, and that is used for what are your options from which you're choosing. It's used for what is the actual secret that's hidden under here. It's used for your guesses as they come in. And these all have different points and purposes, and we don't want to mix them up. For example, ideally, when you make the secret, it should return a new type. That's not just array of code choice. It should return the secret, or whatever it is. And that way you won't mix them up by mistake. So if I just start making something here, like code choices like that, and say that's it, we're going to use code choices here, and I attempt to do anything, we get errors, and then if we follow these errors, we'll probably get more errors and so forth. This is called, at Industrial Logic, we call this the red rash, and it's especially easy to see if you have like a whole bunch of errors all down a file. It's like red, 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 like you've broken out in a rash. What we are trying to do is avoid, and this is what I should have reached for in the first place, we're trying to get away from the code smell primitive obsession. In the back of the book is a list of code smells. These are really good to become super familiar with, like get to know each one. And I look up primitive obsession, page 78, it says. Let me just story time with John. Primitive obsession. Most programming environments are built on a widely used set of primitive types: integers, floating point numbers, and strings. Libraries may add some additional small objects such as dates. We find many programmers are curiously reluctant to create their own fundamental types, which are useful for their domain. Those are the magic words. We're creating domain types. So they are naturally things that won't exist in the language. Fundamental types which are useful for their domain, such as money, coordinates, or ranges. We thus see calculations that treat monetary amounts as plain numbers, or calculations of physical quantities that ignore units, or lots of coding around ranges. I guess with Swift, we do have ranges built into the language, but strings are particularly common petri dishes for this kind of odor. A telephone number is more than just a collection of characters. If nothing else, a proper type can often include consistent display logic for when it needs to be displayed in a user interface. Representing such types as strings is such a common stench that people call them stringly typed as opposed to strongly typed. You can move out of the primitive cave into the centrally heated world of meaningful types by using replace primitive with object. So you go on now to replace primitive with object. I took a photo of the mechanics of replace primitive with object because you may not have seen what the steps look like. It's funny looking. You see that because it's a photo of an open book, right? I didn't press it down. So these are the steps to follow to to do replace primitive with object. Let's do this. Like, let's figure out how to do this. That's what I want to do today. We try to find, like, where does this start? I'm not sure where to begin. Show callers of make secret. That's not it. That's test code. It looks like it's nothing but tests so far. Okay. Here we are. Eric asks a good question. Which tactic would you suggest to keep balance between introducing new primitive types and provided types? I mean, basically, I would say go for your domain as soon as possible. Type alias is not a bad approach with Swift. I think that's a fairly cheap cheat. I tried using it last time to say, let's introduce a type alias of array of code choice as code choices. It didn't really help as much as I thought it would. But I think it can be okay. It can be helpful, especially to avoid creating a lot of things. The problem with the type alias is it still lets you use the primitive. It's just a name. It's not an actual new type. So this really bit us. This really bit me in the butt. And I feel like it does over and over. And the more seasoned extreme programmers I've worked with jump on this one as soon as they see it. It's like, oh, why are we making an array? An array inside of a single class? That's okay. But as soon as you start sending it, like from one type to another, one object to another, that's when I would look at going, what's the concept here? And let's express that concept. So code choice generator, this is the beginning. Because it takes an array of colors and a count, and generates that many code choices. I haven't done Flutter. React, I'm doing React Native right now. One of the more painful things of React Native is the dependency management, and particularly the fact that it's built on CocoaPods. When CocoaPods is, if you may have seen the announcement a few days ago, is officially in maintenance only mode. It's being sunset, as it should. It served us well. It's time to say goodbye. And so I hope somebody is working on switching React Native dependencies away from CocoaPods. That'll take a long time. So let us figure out where generate is called. Okay, it's in the game. Here we go. This is where we are. The game has code choices. This is what we want to change. So if I say here, like that, and say, okay, so this is going to be code choices. And now, yeah, that'll blow up. If I follow this, that stuff will keep blowing up. So let's now do this. Apply encapsulate variable if it isn't already. What is this? So this is a reference to another refactoring. Every refactoring pretty much refers to another one. 132. So, excuse me. The idea behind this one, encapsulate variable, is to create another layer. Basically, instead of exposing this thing, this property on its own, we create a getter and setter for it. The way to do that in Swift is, I think, to do it like this. Well, to create another one that is the backing store. And in here, say, like, make getter and setter for code choices. Yeah. Let's see if it does the right thing. Well, it gave us the getter. There we go. All right, we're gonna fine. So this is step one. Apply encapsulate, can't say it, encapsulate variable. We took code choices and hid it inside of this sneaky little underscore thing, which I ought to make private. And then expose, I guess there was no setter for it because it was set here, but now it, I mean, yeah, it was set in the initializer. So now we go through this little dance. This should pass. Like this should be completely still green. All our tests still good to go. And we commit this. So this is a test supported procedural refactoring encapsulate. I don't know. Let's find out what happens with these. That's step one. Step two, create a simple value class. That's what I keep wanting to get to. For the data value, it should take the existing value in its constructor and provide a getter for that value. Here we go. In fact, will Copilot do this for us? I don't know. For the data for simple value class code choices for the data value This is, I mean, I'm not sure why I'm trying to do this. I'm just want to see if Copilot will keep up. I mean, I don't think it really mattered. But let's see what we have here. Create a simple value class. It should take the existing value in its constructor, which it does implicitly, and provide a getter for that value, which it does. That's enough. I don't feel a need to wrap it in a getter and setter. We shouldn't need to, because the use of the primitive is the thing that we're trying now to box into this new type. It still has to use the primitive. Something does. All right, so that runs static checks. So at this point, I could just build, I suppose. And the purpose of this is to make sure, like, it still builds. Like, what if you have something that's named code choices somewhere else and it's like slaps you there, then at least you get it right away. Change the setter to a new instance of the value class and store that in the field, changing the type of the field if present. Change the setter. Change the setter. Hang on a second. Change the setter to create a new instance of the value class and store that. Okay. I think what we are doing, I think it's this setter. This was a little hard to, it's a little tricky to know which one it means, but I'm pretty sure it means the one we just made. Let's try it and see. So it's a little hard to parse. I think what it means is change the backing type. Because the next step is change the getter to return the result of invoking the getter on the new class. Result of invoking the getter of the new class. That's the implicit getter here. So code choices options. All right, so the way I'm reading this is that we set code choices to code choices options of new value, and that we return code choices options because our underlying thing becomes code choices. Like that. So we're doing a switcheroo of the backing store, but keeping the getter and setter provide a layer. Like everything in coding, an extra layer solves everything, except when it doesn't. Makes life easier. This should still pass, right? Test. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this. Oh, there's the call to make secret. Commented out. This is change type, use new type code choices as backing store. Now, consider using rename function on the original accessors to better reflect what they do. Consider clarifying the role of the new object as a value or reference object. This feels slower. Part of it is that we're fumbling through trying to figure it out. And it is slower than probably going through and breaking everything and then fixing it. With the difference that I'm in green. I am moving carefully with small steps, staying in green, meaning everything building and all tests passing. So now, can I start replacing this? For one step at a time. For example, generate could set the code choices directly. Let's pull code choices out into its own home because more stuff is going to move in here. It's going to pick up some functionality, I'm pretty sure. Actually, where are we? We're in game. Oh, definitely. There is a code choice. Okay, I'll stick it here for now. Oops. So this is, we're doing just a simple little move. Keeping the code choices and code choice generator together for now. So the generator, okay, this brings up another thing that I want to point out, and that was actually something that was said last time by Dota2Attitude. I somewhat wonder if the generator could hang onto the array if generate wasn't static. Anything that's static or a class method is a potential for, like, it makes it harder to, makes it less flexible. It makes it harder to work with, makes it harder for TDD to work well. So that is a thing to wonder about. But let's create. What I want to do now is a refactoring of changing this type to return a new, to return the code choices. Now, bing, bing, bing. Again, the temptation is to say, let's do this and let's fix it up. And if we fix it there, then it'll probably break the tests. Yeah, can the generate function be moved to code choices now that it, yes, exactly. That's something to wonder. I don't know. If we fix this up So it's like, okay, it's going to return code choices options of this whole thing. Great. Now this fails somewhere else, and now we have to chase that down, and then the tests will break. If we don't take the static out of the function, we should consider making the generator an enum. Right. Yes, that is something that is a practice I do use. And that is if the only purpose of a struct is to serve as a namespace, then make it an enum so it's clear you can't make one of these. Like right now, we could instantiate code choice generator. Not sure what that means. All right, let's reset, because what I want to do now is another refactoring. We want to change the signature. So this is change function declaration 124. Change function declaration is a little more complicated because it has two sets of mechanics. The simple mechanics are maybe your IDE can do this for you, or maybe you only have a few places to fix up. The complicated mechanics, the migration mechanics. So you got the simple mechanics and the migration mechanics. And I'd like to, even though our code is very small, it would only take a few minutes, I want to show you what the migration mechanics looks like. Migration. To do the migration, we begin by applying extract function to the entire body. Huh. Oh, this book also has an honest built-in bookmark. Isn't that fantastic? So if we do an extract method on this whole thing, let's see if it'll let us. It won't let us. It won't let us. Fundamentally, what we want to do is the classic technique of parallel change, which is lay down the new thing which nobody is calling yet, and then shift the callers. And actually have the old thing call the new thing and then shift the callers of the old thing one by one. So I say return code choices like that. This should build. Did it say build failed? Okay, build succeed. All right. So this is, wait, this is going to, I think I need to give it a different name. And we now say, make the old thing a delegating function. So What's this look like? Return generate 2 from colors take count options. Yeah. So this should pass. And we're going to get this in. This is extract method. Having done this, we now want to change the colors. So let us find all the colors. Thankfully, there are only a few. Regarding static function, what if code choice generator can exist only per game, where colors are being set if we cannot change colors dynamically during one session of play? Yeah. In this case, colors can be a parameter within the generator with non-static function generate. Let's come back to that. That sounds interesting and probably good. Right now, I'm going to keep going down this road. So we've got the places that call this. Here's the place that we were working in. I'm going to basically take this and apply it now to the caller. So I'm going to say this should be that and options. And this will pass. That's one. Here's another. This should pass. So now I believe the only place that there should be no callers of this. That will only have. Did I do a find text? Find symbol. Hang on. What's this? No, we got a few more. Okay. They're the tests on the generator itself. That's all right. We'll take them one by one. Let's just do them all. This should pass. Good. More shifting. Let's look again for this. Now there is nothing calling this. I believe it is dead code. And now we can do a rename. This is an automated refactoring. So it's slow, it's careful, it's green all the time, which is absolutely essential in a large project. Especially because you don't want to dump um, like a whole bunch of changes into into your code base and then tell everyone, everything has changed. Um, so it's now returning code choices. Oh, I see. You guys are still discussing where it goes, and that's good. Um, Back to the game. We should now be able to just save this and forget the options, right? And that eliminates the setter. Good. Okay. What do we call that? What did I just do? I guess it was set the value directly. Set value directly without setter. I don't know about you. You may find this completely dull. I like the fiddly aspect of it, where instead of the great break everything and fix everything, it's like test, test, test over and over, slowly shifting, evolving, the code growing, and its shape changing. We now have this getter. Where's this used? Okay, this is used in a number of places. What if it's safe in case it breaks, you'll be back in working state in a jiffy? Yes. The get back to working state is as simple as not revert, reset hard. It's kind of making a migration process of the code base. Exactly. Yep, you guys get it. What I don't want to do is start spreading options everywhere, because that might not be the right thing to do. We might want to now start fixing feature envy and looking for law of Demeter violations. And we try not to introduce law of Demeter violations. That's what I see. If you see something else, holler. I mean, we could spread the options. We could just go ahead and spread them and sort of create the law of Demeter violations and then follow them. We'll see. That might be a way to go. For example, can code choices have a getter that returns the options? I mean, it does. It's options. You mean have some sort of implicit thing? This is where, like for, I've seen wrappers that have built-in conversion. For example, if this were a string, we'd say custom string convertible so that I can get back to my thing without having to change all the colors and so forth, which kind of violates the purpose of it. This is disabled anyway. Let's go ahead and change. Back to game, back to game. What if I change this to expose this? And I say game secret code choices options. Well, this test is disabled, so it won't matter, but it should still compile. It does. So I did a Command Shift U to build tests instead of just a Command B. What about here? Here we have a lot of things. Game over shows. Game secret. Ooh, where secret is right now, I think it is just. Oh, there it is. There's the other type. How to do this? How to do this? Do we spread it everywhere? Let's spread it. Let's see if I can't do this in one shot. No, because it needs a regex. Oh well. This shouldn't be too bad. Game code choices. I'm just gonna no, I don't like it. Not too bad, I say, looking at all these. Feels like using underscore code choice directly, even in tests, isn't the best way, isn't it? Technical details of implementation. It is. Yeah, I don't like it. But I'm going to follow it based on an sort of gut hunch that comes from experience that in order to do a refactoring, in order to clean a mess, sometimes you have to make a mess. The mess shifts, the nature of the mess shifts. Still, I wonder if there's a better way to do this. For example, why don't we look at this one? Displays code choices bottom up. What does this mean? I think what it means is that I want code choices. Hi, Swiggy. So we're doing refactoring the slow way, slow and careful way, which means we're trying to deal with primitive obsession, changing an array of code choices into a new type. That represents that same thing, the array of code choices, except it will be in a type, and that's to distinguish it from secrets and your guesses, so that they are separate things, even if they contain the same or similar values. And I have a hunch. And that hunch is that we would still like to be able to offer indexing. How does that feel? So that we can say code choices of like sub 0, sub 1. Yeah. It feels like Kent. I bet he's said something like that in the past. So what if we say, let's start adding right. Could be on the game, but and Bill, glad to have you. Game color? Ah. Instead of repeating game dot code choices sub 1, I could have game something else. Nice. Because that does seem to be the pattern, certainly in this test, in this suite. Let's do that. Exactly, Swiggy. I think of it as your drawers or your closet. That is exactly what I do. Game color eye. Bill, good eye on spotting that. So if we have a bunch of code choices, this is still lingering there. But if we offer a new function, that's like code choice at. Hey, look at that. Oh, I'm eyeing to get rid of a lot of Demeter stuff. Mechanically, make any chain of method calls a method on the first entry. So I wasn't going far enough. Got it. Nice. Code choice at index or code choice unnamed, possibly. How's that? Let's try that. So instead of game.code choices, this will be game.code choice. You want the code oh. Right. Let's take a look. Like, what is it doing with this one? This one is doing something a little different. It's checking the value. Same here. What's this one doing? I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like it's only this test that is doing the dot color. The rest are just taking the code choice. So I think we're still okay sticking with this one just to minimize. Go with the one that has the sort of the majority vote. It may be that you need code choices high often enough that maybe the color should come off that like you started. Not sure having a query method for every choice property on game is the way to go. Of course, what we can do also is right. What is in here? It's not a color. It is a color. Just doesn't know what color is. Where the heck's color? Swift UI. Yeesh. Yep. Oh, welcome, first time chatter. Here, 003. I'm going to put this, I want to note this down as a learning right away. This is a nugget of wisdom from Bill. Where did it go? Here we are. Take the whole thing. We get to slap down something special here. I'll just stick it in there. Yeah, I don't want to forget that. That is a good learning. Let's do it. Let's stick them in. We can always change our mind. This should pass. Nice. Oops. That should pass. This is good enough. I want to get this in. All right, let's go for the others. Is that what I called it? Code choices? No, it's code choice. Yep. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Woo! Shift callers to new game methods. Right. Here's another. What do we have here? Oh, this is disabled. Forget it. Okay. One thing still bothers me, use of raw index to get the code choice color instead of array of int of index. What would that look like? What would that get us? For example, you're saying this would be, instead of an int, array of int. So it's the index. I'm not sure what this buys us, because that's interesting. Oh. Hmm. Array of code choice. I certainly would not have thought of such a thing. What do you think? Does this give us any type safety? Does it make it easier to read? Is it harder? Is it more expressive? Is it leaking the abstraction? I don't know. What do folks think? I'm not sure how I feel. But for now, I'm going to reset it. But we can always bring it back. I feel like that is a question we can defer until later. Is it a primitive thing to represent the index as an integer? I mean, I don't think it would protect us from code. I don't think this will protect us from negatives, will it? For example, this will, I believe, yeah, that's still, it still takes an int. It still sort of is an int with some type aliasy dancing. So I'm going to note that. We'll reset it. Still an interesting thing to learn. All right, where are we? Let's go back to game. see what we have here. There's still this. So no, I don't think I have. Let's follow this. This is it. This is the next place to consider, is that we want to say, hey, I want the code choices in a specific order for display in Swift UI. What is that? Can code choices be a sequence? What would that get us? I guess that would expose, that would give us the ability to call it, but that's a good question. Let's stay here for now. What is it? We're asking the game code choices to present themselves in an order specific for Swift UI. Because of the way it's rendered. It's possible I can imagine a different UI, like a character-based UI, where it's like select 0 or 1, 2, 3 down, as opposed to we are showing going up. So how about a new method here? Top to bottom. I like that. Top to bottom, like that. This looks interesting. So this will be code choices. Whoop. Top to bottom. Ooh. Inaccessible. Haha. Let's get this in. Oh, hang on. Bill's just on fire here. I love it. Yeah. Why do we have to convert it to an array to give it to the view? And back to Swiggy's question. Hexagonally speaking, that could be some type of view or transformer receiving a domain level of game. Basically take the game and say, well, now I think we can get rid of the getter on game. I believe we are done with this. Everything in here, except for this one. You know, let's just comment this out. I think that we can now say this is bye-bye. Not quite. This comes back to Bill talking about, can we make it a sequence? And okay, wow. Wow. Good to have all of you smart people with me. Helps me learn. Where are we? So these are calling the getter. They don't need to. We have access. This is all internal. So let's shift these away. What do we have here? Okay, that's just disabling the one, or commenting out the test that we're not ready for. So let's shift these, and we'll come back to the question of, should it be a sequence? That one is okay. And does that let us get rid of this? It does. Okay. We thank it. We thank it and we throw it away. Goodbye. Custom getter. Yay. Damn, this is fun. Now I can rename this. Automated refactoring, rename property. Woo! We did it. Ostensibly, we're still now following any law of Demeter and feature envy, and we're chasing that, but we've done the hard part, which was what I set out to do, which was to follow the steps in the book for the code smell primitive obsession with the suggested refactoring, replace primitive with object, and going through and following the steps. So this is a new, Swiggy, this is a new variation on Arlo's notation. It is basically a V2 to put the risk first rather than second, as the risk is the more important annotation. It's the primary purpose of Arlo's notation. So it's like dot dash star, gets bigger and bigger. So yeah, that's new in Arlo's thing. It's not officially published, but the folks who use Arlo's notation have started using it. I still think code choices should be private. Games should ask it for the code choices in the order it needs, and if necessary, the game object delegates the yeah. So top to bottom could be last to first instead to also work with horizontal layout. Oh. Subtle naming. Let's do it. So here's a better look at the new notation, Swiggy. Small dot because it was automated. What the type of thing is. All right. You know, we are at time. There's been a huge amount of discussion, and I want to capture some of these things. Let's rework this tree a bit. We're still working in code choices. I'll just throw down another idea here, which might be part of fixing the feature envy. Okay, let me bring this back. I'll keep it side by side. And that is, should it be a sequence? Specifically, in the game screen, was it? Yeah. Good question, Suigi. Let's check on him. We'll say hello to Mr. Ted Young. So this might be weird. We're asking game.codechoices to do a thing that feels like it should be. We're still following the violation there. There are other things about conforming to sequence which might be useful. All right, retro time. What did you guys think? What did you learn? What did I miss? This is a big one here. I love this. Yeah, and this gets back to, I think, the question of being more hexagonal. So let's... Ooh, there's sort of retro and notes for next time. Should it be a sequence? Here, I'll note these down as questions. My question color. Because this is really sort of notes for next time. Should it be a sequence? Should it be a private extension only for this context? These are fun things because we're taking the idea of code choices and we're going to Swift UI. Like there's a transformation happening there. So that is worth exploring. Other thoughts, both for next time and observations of this time. Main thing we did was follow the mechanics. That is the main thing I wanted to really try and lean into, to get away from the chasing of errors. Hello, BK Donkeys. I'm a full stack developer with 4 years of experience transitioning to iOS dev. Have any tips? Throw in your tips, folks. I guess tip number 1 is it's easier on a Mac. For iOS, you will need a Mac if you don't have a good Mac with that's got a fair amount of memory, because Xcode is a hog, or rather Swift is a hog. Enums. Thank you. Great. Especially enums with associated values. Hacking with Swift is a great resource. Codeco, the old, I'm blanking on the name of the dude that started it, and retired and handed it over. At least I assume he's retired. Yeah, these are good things. Anything else? Make a mess. Sometimes to clean a mess, you have to make a mess. All right, let's call it. This was good. This was fun. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm here to learn, and I love the things that you're sharing with me. Ray Wenderlich, that's the name I was spacing. BK Donkeys, if you haven't gotten into unit testing, this is not for Swift UI though, but it hopefully will still help. Of course, the Swift testing environment is about to change, so we'll see. But yeah, I guess we'll see how useful this book remains. In the meantime, come here and hang out and check out my blog as well. Thank you for joining. And for folks who are watching after the fact, do give it a like, because hey, you made it this far. You must have gotten something out of it. Okay, that is a wrap. I will see you next week. Be good, be kind, have fun. Good luck out in the for folks who are searching for new job opportunities. I feel like there's a shift, at least in the US, a shift in the winds. I'm feeling it personally, and hope that it is a more global thing. All right, take care. I'll see you next week. Bye.